Last week on Let's Talk, our host spoke about The Rock and said he wasn't the best actor, but is a great entertainer. He didn't like Vin Diesel very much and didn't have anything to say about Robert De Niro. Nicolas Cage was saved, and Nicole Kidman was said to be a great actress. Jaden Smith and Ben Affleck didn't fare so well. Who will be considered overrated and underappreciated? Find out now.
Okay, we have Jared Leto.
Are you sweet talking me? I love this guy. He's so intense.
Jared Leto. Jared Leto is the perfect example of what happens when you let your ego get in the way of your art. So Jared Leto's been around for a while, and then he sort of came very much onto the scene and became, a well-known person after he won the Academy Award for Dallas Buyers Club, which actually was really a great performance. Would never take that away from him. But it seems like after that, it seems like he's gotten into his head that he's all of a sudden maybe the greatest performer who has ever lived. So then he was cast as the Joker in the Suicide Squad. Understandably, that is a very difficult thing to do because you have to go past Heath Ledger's performance, which was arguably one of the greatest performances in cinema history. Fight me. And he had to create something that was not only different, but arguably had to be better than Heath Ledger's performance.
Blah, 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 blah. All of that chit-chat's gonna get you hurt.
Oh, my God.
So then you hear about the stories on the Suicide Squad set where he was sending his co-workers dead animal carcasses or playing practical jokes on them or not getting out of character even when not on set. Let me tell you something really important. Actors are the most annoying fucking people to be around in the whole fucking world. Now, put on top of that you're being this asshole who is playing practical jokes on your co-workers. It's not only that, it just seems like it was all this publicity stunt so he could get publications saying that, look how deep Jared Leto is getting into his Joker character, who is doing all these things and staying on character off set. And then he ends up having the worst Joker performance that has ever been made. And it's not only the worst Joker performance, it was actually just a terrible, terrible performance in general. If you watch Cara Delevingne in that movie, you can see that they cut quickly from her things because she's a terrible actress. And then you see that the Joker has like 15 minutes in the whole movie, and it's like, why? Why did they cut so much? Because he was shit. Because it was a terrible performance. And then on top of that, the guy has the balls to try and get the new Joker film axed because he doesn't want someone to take his place as the new Joker. Method acting is a really interesting thing as well. I think, since I'm on the topic of it, I think that people think that, if you're a method actor, then, you get really deep into it. Look, you don't have to do that bullshit. All you have to do is be truthful, right? And you have to have, an interesting performance. You have to take risks, and you have to figure out what is going to be an interesting choice, sometimes on the spot, right? Just because someone, is the Joker offset doesn't mean that he's going to have a great performance. And he pretty much proved that. So yeah, Jared Leto, he's very, very overrated. Natalie Portman, please and thank you.
When I look at you, all I see is the white swan. Yes, you're beautiful, fearful, fragile. Ideal casting. But the black swan, it's a hard fucking job to dance both.
I can dance the black swan too.
Natalie Portman is a great actress, but she has a big flaw, and it took me a while to figure it out because I guess I watch Natalie Portman and I think, wow, she is very honest, she's very truthful, and she seems, quite raw in her performances. But something about her, when you watch her, you're like, you feel a bit, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. And I think I figured it out. I think that Natalie Portman always plays the victim. But it's not that she only just plays the victim. I think that she feeds into playing the victim a bit too much. And what I mean by that is that it doesn't seem like her characters in the movies that I've seen of her seem to be going after the goal actively. So, with a story, the character has a goal that they want to achieve and they fight for it. And that's why we watch stories, right? Because we want to see the protagonist, or we want to see these characters win the goal or the dream that they're trying to achieve. And I think Black Swan is actually a perfect example of this, where, yes, she did have a very good performance, a very honest and raw performance that she did win an Academy Award for. However, I didn't feel like she was actively trying to become a perfect performer or perfect ballerina in that. So if you watch the movie, you would notice someone like Mila Kunis or Vincent Cassel, where their characters, you know what they want and you know how bad they want it, and you can see them actively going for it and fighting for it, where you just don't feel that with Natalie Portman in her performance. And the character that Vincent Cassel plays, it says it perfect.
But you're a coward.
Sorry.
Now stop saying that! That's exactly what I'm talking about! Stop being so fucking weak!
She is a coward, and she feels like a coward in all of her performances. So as a viewer, you're watching her and you're like, well, I'm not really rooting for her. And I mean, that's probably why she was cast in Black Swan, because she's so good at playing the victim. But it's just, yeah, I do agree with this one. Look, she is a great performer, good, honest performances, but very boring choices as a character. Yeah. Natalie Portman, overrated. And the last actor for the list is Chris Savva.
On that, I tried calling you the other day. What are you doing for New Year's?
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight.
I'm gonna be with this girl.
That's cool, man. Who is she?
Tegan? Big tits.
Yeah, cool. Where'd you meet her?
Just at the pub. A couple weekends ago, me and the boys were drunk.
So what's she like? I mean, apart from the big tits, how long have you been seeing her?
Thank you for calling me overrated, because that assumes that I am highly rated to people, and I don't think that's the case. No, I don't think I'm overrated, because I don't think I'm really rated highly to people, so yeah. Let's get to the underappreciated actors list.
I'ma go in the Stella. I feel like Matthew McConaughey. I don't care for what they gotta say. Tony Perkins, how I dropped away. Jason Bourne with...
First on the list is Robert Pattinson.
I already says...
How dare ye contradict me, you dog?
Now look here. I ain't never intended to be no housewife nor slave in taking this job. And it ain't right. These lodges is more ramshackle than any shanty boys camp I ever seen. The Queen of England's old fancy housekeeper couldn't even done no better than what I done. Because I tell you, I scrubbed this here place twice over.
And I say you did nothing of the sort.
I'm very glad that he's on this list. I really do think Robert is a phenomenal actor. I think that he's going to become one of the biggest actors in the world in the next couple years, and rightfully so. He has very truthful, very raw performances. He makes very interesting choices. He's very interesting to watch. He's just overall a good performer. I think that's proven even further because he's gone from something like Twilight, which he's marketed as this good-looking guy, to young teenage girls, and that's hard to get out of. But if you're unlucky enough to ever have watched the Twilight movies, you would know that Robert Pattinson is actually really good in those films, which, arguably isn't that difficult when you're acting alongside like the two of the worst actors in the world, Kristen Stewart and Taylor Lautner. But if we have to look at Taylor Lautner compared to Robert Pattinson and look at their careers and where their careers have gone and are going, you can see why Taylor is like nowhere. And then like Robert Pattinson is all of a sudden he's in Tenet. He's going to be Batman in the new Batman movie, and he's just recently been part of a new Netflix movie. But if you really want to see how good he is now, then look at performances like in Good Time or look at Lighthouse. Yeah, so I'm very glad that he's being recognized more because I think I think he deserves it, definitely. Next, we have Jason Bateman.
And apparently, every summer, hang on, listen to me. Every summer, the population of this place explodes. Tons of tourists, Midwesterners from all over the place, blue collar, white collar, loaded with cash.
Jason Bateman is a funny comedic actor, but he's recently gotten into more dramatic roles, and if you look at something like Ozark, I think arguably he's a better dramatic actor than he is a comedic actor, which is a big compliment because he is a funny guy as well. Ozark is a perfect example of someone embodying a character and really feeling like there is no one else who could have played that role any better. I think he's also come from a place where he was never like the main character in things. He was never the protagonist. He was always like a sideline character. And now we get to see him actually thrive in characters that are more fleshed out and, have more of a life about them. So I'm glad people have trusted him to really do that, and he's proven why he can do that. Yeah, I'll definitely love to see him more in both types of roles, both comedic and dramatic roles, because I think he can definitely do both. He's a very versatile actor, and he's a very interesting actor to watch as well. Alicia Vikander.
What would you like to know?
Whatever comes into your head.
Well, you already know my name. And you can see that I'm a machine. Would you like to know how old I am?
Sure.
I'm 1.
1 what? 1 year or 1 day?
1.
Now, if you don't know who Alicia Vikander is...
Alicia Vikander.
I guess I don't blame you, because I don't think that she's had a lot of opportunity to be out into the more well-known movies. Like, yes, she was in Lara Croft, but maybe people didn't really know her name. And she's been in, some smaller movies as well. I mean, she's won an Academy Award, but I don't think she's a household name just yet. I watched Ex Machina and I thought she was so great in that. I loved her performance and I loved that movie so much that I named my car after her character, Ava. But yes, I do find it weird that
Alicia,
who is a gorgeous actress as well, doesn't have more roles, or at least more roles in bigger films. And maybe that's her choice. Look, maybe that's a choice that she's made, that she doesn't want to be in big films that, maybe are detrimental to the craft. But if you do want to see her in good films, Ex Machina is definitely one of them that I would highly recommend. The whole movie is just so good. Next on the list is Liam Neeson.
For this, I could have gone one more person, and I didn't. I didn't.
This is one I had to think a little bit about as well, because I don't think that Liam Neeson is underappreciated by fans. I think that maybe he's underappreciated by the industry. Because, Liam Neeson is a world-class actor. We saw him in Taken, which he was very good in, obviously. And he was so popular in that they have taken him and they've put him in, arguably the same role in different movies. And I feel like Liam Neeson definitely can do a lot more than, just being a spy thriller sort of movie. And again, this could be a choice of his, as maybe he feels like he wants to do, maybe he wants to make more money rather than be in more artistic films or, more gritty films. But I would love to see Liam Neeson branch out again into more significant roles. Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm looking for a job. In fact, I've made up my mind to find a career that I can learn and grow into. Who am I? I'm a hard worker. I set high goals, and I've been told that I'm persistent. Now, I'm not fooling myself, sir. Having been raised with the self-esteem movement so popular in schools, I used to expect my needs to be considered. But I know that today's work culture no longer caters to the job loyalty that could be promised to earlier generations. What I believe, sir, is that good things come to those who work their asses off, and that people such as yourself who reached the top of the mountain didn't just fall there.
Well, now, I put this one on the list because Jake is actually my favorite actor. And I very much think that he's underappreciated because I think that he's very versatile. His characters are always different. He always delivers an amazing performance, yet he's not up there with people, maybe he's not up there with people like Leonardo DiCaprio, who you hear his name, everyone knows his name, everyone knows who Leonardo DiCaprio is, and he's, you know, always on that list of being like the most loved actors. But definitely, if you do look at Jake Gyllenhaal movies, he's always different, and I love that about him. If there's any movie that you do have to see, it is Nightcrawler. I recommend it to everyone all the time. It is one of my favorite films, and Jake Gyllenhaal is so good in it. God fucking damn, he is so good in that film. So yes, I am biased. I acknowledge that. Jake Gyllenhaal, very underappreciated. Frances McDormand.
What's this shit?
And as sad as the spectacle of these burned-out billboards might be, in light of the death of Chief Willoughby, this reporter, for one, wonders if this finally puts an end to the strange saga of the 3 billboards outside.
This doesn't put an
Ebbing,
end to
Missouri.
shit, you fucking retard. This is just a fucking start. Why don't you put that on your Good Morning Missouri fucking wake-up broadcast, bitch?
Look, I had to look up who she is, which sort of automatically makes the point relevant that she's underappreciated. But like everyone else on this list, she's a very versatile actor. And I think she makes very interesting choices. If you want to see her in a really good film, watch 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, where she just kills that performance. And she won an Academy Award for it, and there's no wonder why she did, because it was amazing. But yeah, I guess I would love to see her in other films, because the way she was in 3 Billboards was really quite amazing, and yeah, would love to see what else she can do. Jonah Hill.
The only thing that makes sense is a break-in. You came home, you found everyone dead, you panicked. You thought someone was trying to frame you, so you dumped the bodies and you went on the run. But somebody else killed them. Is that possible? Maybe. No, it's not. None of those stories hold water because they're all fucking lies.
I love this one because comedy is hard, and it's hard to get out of as an actor when you are known as a comedian. But not only has he gone from someone who is maybe seen as, you know, the token overweight guy who is rude and you know, people make fun of him and this and that, he's taken comedic roles and he's done other comedic roles that aren't that and still done really well on them. And then on top of that, he's done dramatic roles which he's been awesome in as well. And I guess you can look at his career and you can see that he's changing his public persona as he goes forward and goes forward. It's not to say that he can't still do roles like Superbad or anything like This Is the End or anything like that. But I'm glad he's in dramatic roles as well, because he is awesome in them, and maybe arguably he is better in those dramatic roles too. I think Jonah Hill is one of those guys who's just really good in anything that he's in. And that's hard to do. It's hard to be able to take characters and be great in all of them over a variety of different genres. So yes, Jonah Hill, underappreciated. Theo James.
My name's 4.
4 like the number?
Exactly like the number.
What happened? 1 through 3 were taken?
What's your name?
Christina?
Well, Christina, the first lesson you learn from me, if you want to survive here, is keep your mouth shut.
I had to look Theo James up as well because I didn't recognize the name at all. But he's that guy in Divergent who's like, you know, the veteran, and he's sort of like the leader, and he's a bit of an asshole. And he's in a TV show called Sanditon. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sanditon. And he's in a TV show called Sanditon as well, where he sort of plays a similar guy. He's you know, he's an asshole, and he's sort of reserved, and you know, doesn't like people talking to him and being, you know, in the presence of him as well. You know, in saying that though, he was a good actor in terms of bringing out a truthful performance. However, it seems like he needs more. I think he needs to maybe build his characters a bit more up as well, to feel like they have like this background that you know, isn't told but is felt. I mean, look at him in Divergent, right? It was said that he was like the best student in his class, but it doesn't feel like that. I think even when you look at like Jai Courtney, who's in that movie as well and is acting alongside him, it's like it feels like Jai has definitely a bigger and well-rounded past as opposed to Theo. But again, that is one movie that could be based on the script. Maybe he didn't connect to the script, and that's definitely something that gets in the way of performances. Could be the director's choice to make him a certain way as well, which is, again, sometimes out of the control of the actor. Because Theo, as far as I'm concerned, isn't bad. But at the same time, he's just not interesting, and it feels like he's trying a bit, too hard to show what he is rather than be what he is. And again, as an actor, I know how hard that is. It's hard to sometimes embody certain traits of a character and show them without telling. So I don't agree that Theo James is underappreciated yet, but maybe with a further career that will change, and I assume that it might. But I guess this is something that time will tell. Everyone from the 100. So my friend Marco, who is in the Wish video, keeps telling me, watch The 100. Oh, it's such a great show, watch The 100. Now I've seen the fucking first episode of The 100. And if you're sensitive to bad acting as much as I am, you can't get through the first fucking episode because the acting is so fucking bad. And I know Marco, he's just trying to get me riled up. You did very well. I don't like The 100. I don't like the actors in 100. Maybe they get culled off, throughout the season. But no, I can't give it a chance, and I probably won't give it a chance. And that's all I have to say about The 100. Next on the list is Chris Savva. Yeah, I got that a couple times. I guess that's what happens when you ask friends and family for their underappreciated actors. I'm alright. I'm an alright actor. I find it hard to connect with shit work, and that's a talent that some actors have. I really miss the theatre. I love the theatre. I'm arguably a better theatre actor than I am a screen actor. Although I do miss theatre, and I guess I do miss acting in general, I do enjoy what I am doing right now. And I guess I've put my acting on hold. I have other goals and other things that I want to achieve. And one of them is doing this sort of stuff. I love making these videos. And I'll continue to make videos, and I hope that you enjoy them. And I hope you join me on the ride with whatever I come up with next. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you can definitely give it a thumbs up. That will get me maybe seen by more people. If you didn't like it, that's fair enough. There's a dislike button there as well. But what I would love to know is who you think is an overrated actor or an underappreciated actor, and why. Tell me why. And please add the film that they are in, or a film that they're in. That way I can watch it as well, and maybe in the future I'll make another video like this. I know it wasn't, as comedic and funny as my other things, but I enjoyed doing this. Talking about something that I know a little bit about. And I guess on that note, it's time to finish the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.